I buried my son when he was 67 years old. The doctor said it was his heart. But I'll tell you something the doctor didn't know. My son ate the same food I did. He sat at the same table. He had the same blood running through his veins. So why am I sitting here at 103 and he's been in the ground for 15 years? That question haunted me for a long time. I would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking God why he took my boy and left me. An old man with nothing left to do but wait. And then, about 5 years ago, I found something. My daughter-in-law was cleaning out my son's old closet, and she brought me a box of his. Things, letters, photographs, and a small notebook I'd never seen before. I opened it, and on the first page, in my son's handwriting, were 3 words that stopped my heart. Dad was wrong. I sat there for an hour, just holding that notebook, too afraid to open it again, too afraid to learn what my own son had discovered about me. When I finally read the rest, I understood. My son had been keeping a food diary for the last 10 years of his life. He'd written down everything I taught him about eating, and then, next to each of my lessons, he'd written the truth, what the modern doctors had told him, what the studies showed, what I, his own father, had gotten wrong. And that's when I realized something terrible, something I need to tell you today. The foods that kept me alive for 100 years, they almost killed my son. Let me explain. I was born in 1923. I learned to eat from my mother, who learned from her mother. We ate what the land gave us. We trusted our instincts. We believed that if it grew from the ground, it was good for you. And for me, that was true. My body thrived on it. My father lived to 96. My mother lived to 94. We thought we had the secret. We thought we were doing everything right. But here's what we didn't understand. My son was born in 1955. The world had already started changing by then. The soil wasn't the same. The food wasn't the same. His body wasn't the same. I taught him to eat like me. I taught him to love olive oil and beans and greens from the garden. And I was right about those things. But I was blind to what else he was eating. You see, by the time my son was a grown man, the supermarkets had arrived. The packaged foods had arrived. The sodas and the white bread and the vegetable oils in shiny bottles. He ate those things too. He thought they were food. I didn't stop him because I didn't know any better. I thought the good food would cancel out the bad. I thought his body would handle it the way mine did. I was wrong. So let me tell you what I ate, what I still eat. The 7 foods that have been on my plate for nearly a century. Not because a doctor told me to, because the land told me to. Number 1, olive oil. Every morning, a spoonful. Not the cheap stuff, the good kind, green and thick and peppery. My grandfather planted those trees in 1910. I've been drinking from them ever since. Number 2, beans. Every single day. Black beans, white beans, lentils, cooked slow with garlic and bay leaf. I don't care what anyone says. There is no better food on this earth for keeping a man steady. Number 3, greens, dandelion, spinach, chard, beet tops, whatever grew closest to my door, boiled soft and eaten with a splash of vinegar. Number 4, wild berries. In the summer, I would walk up the mountain and pick blackberries by the handful. My mother called them God's candy. She was right. Number 5, corn. But not the sweet corn you know. Real corn, field corn, treated with ash from my fireplace to unlock what was inside. Ground into masa, made into tortillas or porridge. Number 6, eggs from my own chickens. 1 a day, usually. Boiled or fried in my olive oil. Number 7, small fish. Sardines, mostly. Dried or canned in salt. Eaten with the bones, because the bones are where the strength lives. 7 foods. That's it. For 90 years, that's been my world. But here's what my son wrote in that notebook. He said, Dad's foods are perfect, but they're not enough. He had gone to see a nutritionist, a young woman who studied the body the way I studied the land, and she told him something that changed everything. She said, your father's generation grew food in soil that was rich, rich with minerals, rich with life. Your generation grows food in soil that's tired, depleted, sprayed with chemicals. You're eating the same foods, but you're not getting the same nutrition. And then she said something that really hit him. She said, also, your father eats those foods and nothing else. You eat those foods, and then you also eat packaged crackers and sugary coffee and white bread and vegetable oils. Your father's diet is protecting him. Your diet is just not killing you fast enough. My son wrote that down, underlined it 3 times. Dad's diet is protecting him. Mine is just not killing me fast enough. This is hard to say, but I need to say it. I watched my son eat, and I said nothing. I watched him pour sugar into his coffee. I watched him eat white bread with margarine. I watched him drink sodas at lunch and tell me they were just a treat. I watched him buy vegetables from the supermarket that had traveled 1,000 miles and tasted like cardboard. And I said nothing, because I thought, he's young, he is strong, he'll be fine. But here's what I didn't understand. The body doesn't forget. Every bad meal leaves a mark. Every sugar spike, every processed oil, every chemical preservative, they all add up like drops of water on a stone. You don't see the damage until the stone breaks. My son's stone broke. The young nutritionist told him, you need to eat like your father, but you also need to eat more of what your father couldn't get. More variety, more colors, more from clean soil, and you need to stop eating everything else. He tried, he really tried. For the last few years of his life, he ate better. He bought organic. He cut out sugar. He started taking spoonfuls of olive oil in the morning, just like me, but it was too late. The damage was done. The years of processed food had already carved their path through his arteries. I didn't know that food could kill slowly. I thought killing was fast. A war, an accident, a fall. I was wrong. After my son died, I changed. Not my food. My food stayed the same, but my understanding changed. I still eat my 7 foods, but now I know why they work, and I know what else I need. The young people who visit me, they bring studies. They bring articles. They tell me the science behind my mother's cooking. And I'll share some of that with you now, because my son would want me too. That olive oil I drink every morning, it's full of something called polyphenols. They fight inflammation. Inflammation is what wears your body down from the inside. It's like rust on a tractor. The oil stops the rust. The beans I eat every day, they feed my gut. The young scientists say there's a whole world of bacteria in there, and beans are what they eat. When the bacteria are happy, I'm happy. When they're strong, I'm strong. The greens from my garden, vitamin K. That's what keeps my bones from breaking. At my age, a fall can be the end. The greens keep me standing. The wild berries, they feed my brain. There's something in them called anthocyanins. That's the blue color. It keeps the mind sharp. It's why I still remember the names of every plant on this mountain. The corn treated with ash, that unlocks the niacin. Without that, corn is just empty calories. With it, corn becomes medicine for my nerves and my skin. The eggs? Choline, for memory, for my brain. The sardines, with the bones. Calcium and vitamin D, for my bones. For my mood. For the winter, when the sun hides. 7 foods. But now I know why they're enough. So, what was the real difference between me and my son? Why did I live and he didn't? I've thought about this every day for 15 years. Here's my conclusion. First, I ate nothing else. My son ate my foods, but he also ate the modern foods, the ones in boxes and bags, the ones with ingredients I can't pronounce. I never touched those, not once, not even on holidays. Second, my food came from my land. The soil here, in these mountains, has been growing food for my family for over 100 years. It's never been sprayed with chemicals. It's never been depleted by machines. It's alive. My son bought his food from stores. It came from factory farms. It looked like my food, but it wasn't my food. Third, I ate slowly. A meal for me takes an hour. I chew, I rest, I look out the window. I thank the food. My son ate in his car. He ate at his desk. He ate in front of a screen. The body doesn't process food the same way when the mind is elsewhere. Fourth, I was born at the right time. This is the hardest one to say. My body was built in a world without processed food. It never learned to crave sugar. It never adapted to vegetable oils. My son's body was born into a different world. His cravings were shaped by advertisements. His taste buds were trained by factories. He was fighting a battle I never had to fight. I don't say this to excuse myself. I say this because it matters. The food you eat today is not the food I ate at your age. And your body knows the difference, even if you don't. If I could sit across from my son one more time at our old wooden table with a plate of beans between us, here's what I would say. I would say, "Mijo, my boy, I'm sorry." I would say, "I taught you to eat from the land, but I forgot to teach you to avoid the factory. I thought the good would cancel the bad. I didn't know the bad never forgets." I would say, "Those 7 foods I gave you, they're still your foundation, but you need more now. More colors, more variety, more from soil that hasn't been tired, and you need to stop everything else. Not reduce, stop." I would say, "The spoonful of olive oil in the morning is not a tradition. It's a shield. The beans every day are not a habit. They're an anchor. The greens are not a side dish. They're your medicine." I would say, "And mijo, eat slowly. Sit down. Look at your food. Thank it. Because food that isn't honored doesn't honor you back." I never said those things. I didn't know them then. I know them now. So here I am, 103 years old, alone in this house, except for the memories. I've outlived my wife. I've outlived my son. I've outlived almost everyone I ever loved. And people come to me now with their cameras and their questions, and they ask, "Elias, what's the secret?" I used to give them the list, the 7 foods: olive oil, beans, greens, berries, corn, eggs, fish. That's what I ate. That's what kept me here. But after my son's notebook, after learning what he learned, I give them something else. I tell them, the food is not enough. The food is never enough. You have to eat food that comes from living soil. You have to eat nothing else. You have to eat slowly, with gratitude, with presence. And you have to start before the damage is done. My son started too late. He ate the right things, but he also ate the wrong things. And the wrong things won. Don't let the wrong things win. My name is Elias. I was born in 1923. I've been eating dinner for over 100 years. And this is what I've learned. The food keeps you alive, but what you don't eat keeps you alive longer. Thank you for listening to an old man. Now, go eat something that grew in the ground, and when you do, think of me. Think of my son, and make the choice he wished he'd made sooner. I'll be here with my olive oil and my beans